Hello everyone! Thank you so much for watching the Transformers 1 movie review, and this is part 2 of my double movie review project. So with that, I cannot wait to do this next one because let's get wild with the Wild Robot. That's right, we are going to review this movie. Now originally, I wasn't really planning on going to watch this movie because when I first saw the trailers, I was like, it would be something I would really want to watch, but it started to grow on me because of animation is really nice and has a really interesting story. So with that, I decided to review this one along with Transformers 1. I know it was a bit longer to take because of sometimes I would watch a movie, but either after the date because of sometimes I got some plans whenever the movie comes out real soon. But other than that, I'm very interested to do this movie review. Like I said, not really one of the films I wasn't really too excited for watching or either planning. I will do small discussion on this a little bit later on. But other than that, without further ado, before I want to get started, this is one of the very few movies that just got released last week. So if you want to avoid spoilers, all you gotta do is first pause me and then go ahead and check it out in theaters, or if it's on streaming or the DVD is out right now, you can either watch it at home or with your friends if they have a DVD player or something like that. Or if you're a spoiler and you're like, I don't mind, and just watch on ahead, go right on ahead, because I don't really mind. Also, of course, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to share this with your friends. And yep. So without further ado, let's get started. A Universal Rosm Unit 7134 has been washed up on the shores and is eventually turned on accidentally by a family of otters, which it thinks, as it's programmed to be, thought it was a new task, but everything around her is completely different to the way she thought because, well, she was programmed to help humans, and it's something that she's not familiar with because, well, most of the animals don't really want anything to do with Roz because they think of her as a monster, and they always keep kicking her around her or trying to get rid of her, because of she is completely different and they thought of her as a monster or something. But she would do anything to help them out, do their task as she was programmed to be. Even after spending some time curled up in the ball to understand the animals' languages, they still want nothing to do with her. And she had rough throughout the island, like being plucked apart by raccoons, being chased by Thor, the fiercest animal in the island, which is a bear. But one moment, she found herself in a goose's nest where she accidentally killed a family of gooses or geese. Sorry about that pronunciation. That was silly of me. Anyway, after finding the body of the family of geese she accidentally killed, that was a little dark, I'll admit that. She did found one surviving egg of the family of geese, which still had the baby geese inside of it, or gosling per se. Sorry about that again. However, she was trying to figure out what she would do with the egg, but the egg was eventually snatched away by Fink, the red fox of the island. But she managed to get it back from him in time, but only to she also, of course, how should I put it? She did help Fink by removing the quills from a porcupine, but Fink did ran away, and eventually that geese egg, the gosling egg, finally hatched, and it appeared to be. It hatched into this small gosling, and the first thing that Gosling saw in Roz, he thinks she's his mother. However, thinking that the egg hatching was a task, she wanted to do nothing with him because of she felt like his task was complete. Well, her at least. It's hard to tell because Roz is a robot and some robots are genderless. Some, how do I say that? Anyway, she thinks that she was done, but the Gosling kept following her because, well, he thinks he's his mother. Anyway, but luckily enough, she come across his Pinktail, a mother possum of 7, or was it 6? Anyway, she came across her, and she told her that taking care of this new Gosling is her new task, and she was given with these 3 assignments to help this baby Gosling. The baby Gosling needs to eat, of course, like everyone has to, except for Roz, because she is a robot. But more importantly, the Gosling, when he becomes older, needs to learn how to swim and to fly. And the flying is the most important part because he will need to migrate for the winter until he can come back to the island. So with that, becoming a mother is Roz's next task. And she tried to do it all very fast and easy, but not a lot easy. Luckily enough, Fink, the fox that Roz did help with, and I did probably mention this earlier on, he agreed to help her take care of this baby Gosling. So with that, they decided to raise this one together, and eventually the new baby Gosling was named Brightbill. So with that, they worked together to help feed him throughout the journey. And it wasn't easy because of most of the foods are pretty challenging, like clams, hard to eat because they can just, ouch. Honey, because honey is a delicacy for the forest and most people. Fish, which wasn't easy because Thorn nearly got them, but luckily enough, there were some few worms, and they managed to cook up the clams with a little bit of the hot water thanks to Roz's little laser thing, and a small crab, which Fink actually ate for his own dinner. So at that, it wasn't easy at first, but as time went by, Brightbill started to become older, but was the smallest for the many geese around him because of Fink says that he's a runt and his chances for survival isn't going to be easy, but Roz says that she can complete her task before winter, so that way Brightbill can migrate. But it wasn't easy, but they started off with swimming, of course, and Brightbill was taught the necessary meanings of swimming, but from a human rather than a goose. So with that, it was a little easy for him, but when he come across a flock of geese, they started to torment him because, well, he is a runt, like Fink said, and he was raised by Rozum, And they eventually learned the truth that Razum accidentally killed his family. After learning that, Brightbill scorns and disowns Roz as he went off. And because of that, Roz decided to go to the same area where she was washed up. And there she found a bunch of other washed up robots. Some that were either disassembled, some that are broken. But she did manage to find one Razum unit, and she decided to call her Rumish, and she tried to have a conversation with her. However, she is a bit different from the Razum because Rumish was the one tasked to do what she was programmed to be. As for Razum, as she started to live around the island, she started to adapt more into the cultural and started to have this weird feeling. That's strange because Razum units aren't supposed to have a this feeling. They can't have any emotions. They can't feel sadness. They can't feel anger. They can't feel fear. They can't feel happiness inside them. They just can't have any feeling around them. And they called her defective. However, they decided to at least help her out by giving her one of the transmissions to Razum because hers was broken by Bragbill accidentally. But after receiving this, Anne started to start having this new thing that she's going through her ever since she started raising Brightbill and befriending Fink. She can't decide if she either will go back to the place where she was built or to stay with Brightbill and to complete her task. And she decided to stay behind to help Brightbill complete her task by helping Brightbill learn how to fly. So with that, even after reluctantly, she still remained on the island to help Brightbill learn how to fly. But before that, she accidentally lost her leg after trying to help Brightbill swim, but also to save him from Rockmouth. And it wasn't easy because of it was hard to teach him how to fly with one leg. But luckily enough, a beaver who was reluctant about the Roz's appearance there, he started to grow on him by helping her get a new leg entirely made out of wood, thanks to that. And she also had another help from Thunderbolt, a peregrine falcon who agreed to help Brightbill learn how to fly. And he was a perfect flying coach indeed. And with every day, every night, she never stopped until Brightbill can fly perfectly. So with that, they come across Longneck, the leader of the flock of geese, and he was very impressed the way how Roz was raising Brightbill. Yeah, he saw everything, and he was impressed by it, and how far that he went off from learning super fast. So with that, it was time. The migration of geese is about to start, and Brightbill is about to join them in order to survive throughout the harsh winter that will soon become, as most of the animals will begin to hibernate real soon. However, Roz feels sad that she has to see Brightbill leave after a huge bond, and after that, her task was complete, and she is about ready to send a signal to the people that made her, as she is ready to return to her original place. However, she did something unexpected. She turned it off right as the signal was sent off because of she felt like she wanted to see Brightbill again before she could return. However, as of the harsh winters, Fink decided to stay at the little cabin that she is staying on with that she built. However, she noticed that the harsh winters was too fierce, so at that, she, along with Fink, decided to work together to rescue every animal on the island, including Thorn, the fiercest one among them all. However, as they are completely different animals, most of them are predators, most of them are prey, it wasn't easy to get along, especially with Roz, but luckily, Fink managed to convince them that she did everything that she could to save these animals, and she almost risked her life because, as she said, sometimes to survive, they have to be more that they were programmed to be, and in other words, kindness is the one way of survival. So with that, they decide to form a truce to not attack each other during the winter. Even Thorn agreed on that. Meanwhile, during the migration, in which apparently the world of the wild robot takes place during the a futuristic Earth where most of the landscapes were flooded, like the Golden Gate Bridge, that's flooded. Some few buildings in there, the ones that are shown. So yeah, it takes place in a futuristic Earth. It makes total sense because of sometime later in the future we'll have these robots that'll be with us, but as of right now we're still we still got our phones and stuff, but yep. Anyway, as they were trying to make it through migration, they realized that the storm was getting too strong and they needed a spot to rest. And luckily enough, they managed to find a area with a nice garden in there, which is also the same place where Roz was found, because Brightbill found one of the robots thinking it was Roz and tried to tell her something, but the robots found them and he started to sound the alarms, and the geese were trying to escape in time, but luckily enough, Brightbill managed to buy them time, which caused him a noble sacrifice. So with that, Brightbill was a hero to them, as he was the one who led the geese flock out of the areas in time. And after some time, when it officially becomes spring, Ross found out that Brightbill is back, but is a little worried that because of the geese are acknowledging Brightbill for all the heroics that he did, and decided to left. But Brightbill still needed to tell Ross something very important. But there was one thing that is happening. The Universal Rosm units have come to grab Roz, as she believes that it was time for her to go, as with the robot sent to her. But they also want to experiment on her, because as she adapted throughout the island, she gained so much more than what other robots cannot, and that's the personalities, feelings, and the hardship that she gave. But Brightbill and the other animals didn't want her to go, because she did everything for her, and they would do anything for him. So with that, the animals did everything that they could to help Roz stay in this island, because this is Roz's new home and she's a wild robot. So with that, they managed to fight off against the androids that were trying to take her away. However, Vantra set explosions to those robots and used a magnet to abduct was back on their ship so that way she could dig inside of her memories and clear everything so she can be repaired and rebooted. However, there was a huge forest fire in there and they have to get it out real quick, but luckily enough, they managed to help Flapper cut down the biggest tree that he was trying to do, and they worked together to create a huge flood to take out the fire. Meanwhile, Brightbill was leading the geese along with any of the other flying animals to stall the ship in time so that way Brightbill can tell her how he really feels and that he loves him. So with that, they managed to escape in time, but not before destroying Vetra. But Vetra did say that he will keep on coming and coming until they manage to get Ross. But after that, they managed to escape in time, and the fight is finally over. However, after seeing the huge damage caused, Roz realized that she can't stay because of all the damage that has done. They need to she needs to go back. However, the animals really grew with her and they don't really want her to leave, but she believes it's best for her then because this is her migration and one day she will return. So after some few moments, she helped rebuild the cottage and most of the animals' habitats that were nearly destroyed, and she was finally sent back to the place where she was created or she was meant to be. But she said that she will return. So in the meantime, this is her migration. So with that, all the animals still wonder about her because ever since then she was an idol, a hero to them all, and hope that one day she will return to them and something like that. Meanwhile, even though with her new robot body reformed, she still has her own personal emotional side when Brightbill came to visit and the two finally embraced. The end. Now, that's it for the movie review. Well, at least for the story part. Now it's time for the review part. Okay, so this movie is pretty interesting. Really nice animation they put up for this movie. It's sort of like the same animation style they put in for the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and most importantly, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because looking at the animation, it sort of had the same style as it did with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That's how I saw it throughout. But other than that, the story is pretty interesting of how a robot who has no emotions and isn't supposed to feel anything, went throughout the movie, start to develop emotions inside of her. It's sort of like the story of how the one thing that can change from emotionless to emotion is very interesting, as she befriended Fink and some of the other animals, and along with raising Brightbill. It is something that is really good for this movie, and really nice way of how they would put in it. Also, of course, really nice casting they put in it, especially with most of them were Star Wars actors. Like, for example, she is played by Lupita Nyong'o. As you probably know, she did the alien, forgot her name, who helped out the game from the sequel saga. Fink, also played by Pedro Pascal, as he played Mandalorian from the Mandalorian series, along with this being his very first animated feature film, like how Chris Hemsworth, his very first animated feature-length film was Transformers 1, and Mark Hamill, who played Thor, who also did, most notably, Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars series. So with that, it is a very interesting movie. I would give it a 7.9 out of 10, and really nice movie. Wait, there are some few things I forgot to mention before I want to head up to the end of the film. Okay, so first off, it's really nice for DreamWorks to have their very own robot protagonist, like how with Disney and Pixar having WALL-E and the Iron Giant having a from Warner Bros. And looking at this film actually has the two same concepts of the films. Like, for example, the Wild Robot is set in a futuristic world, just like with WALL-E. However, instead of the Earth being partially flooded, the world of WALL-E is covered with trash. Even the atmosphere was covered in trash. And the Iron Giant, some parts of the film showed off the Iron Giant in the forest, like how Roz was set in the island of wild animals. So yeah. However, at the near end of the Iron Giant, it was taken in a city, and I believe it was in the 1970s. All depends on that, but other than that, really shows the nice concept with both of these films. So, yeah. Also, looking at the end of the film, I feel like it should have a sequel because of, most of the animals do want to see her return because of, she is now seen as their own idol, their hero, and the inspiration that kindness is one of the other ways to survive and to get along. And the ending felt like a cliffhanger, so I could see this film getting a sequel. And if it does success this year, it could probably will, just like how if Transformers 1 does succeed in the box office, it might get a sequel. All depends on it. And if it does get a sequel, The Wild Robot at least, it would be the second DreamWorks film to become a franchise, like how the Bad Guys will in the 2020s, with the Bad Guys series getting a sequel next year. Super excited for that. Now, the last thing is that this film is based out of the book written by Peter Brown, because, like I said with Disney, DreamWorks is also good with making a lot of book adaptations, like Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Captain Underpants, The Boss Baby, apparently, and the latest film from Netflix, Orion and the Dark. These films are based out of books, and I didn't know The Boss Baby was based out of a book because of when I saw the movie, I thought it was a completely random movie. But doing some research, it's apparently based out of a book. I didn't really know that. But another tip is that the Captain Underpants movie is getting a spin-off with Dogman, which will come out in 2025, along with the sequel to The Bad Guys, and a feature-length film with Gabby's Dollhouse. I didn't really think of that one. Also, of course, DreamWorks also did some original movies like Madagascar is a completely original story, but is based out of the New York Zoo animals. I also know that Kung Fu Panda is a original story. And Trolls, I know it's based out of the Good Luck Troll dolls, but the stories are based out of the original. So that's something like that. And in the near future, DreamWorks will begin to work on some few video game adaptations. I saw this video, and DreamWorks is going to be working with this studio called Story Kitchen. That's the studio that are planning on making some video game adaptation. And so, yeah, it's really very interesting to see DreamWorks working on some few video game adaptations. It would be very interesting though. And looking at this, DreamWorks is owned by Universal Studios, which also owns the DreamWorks' sister company, Illumination, the same company that did Despicable Me, The Secret Life of Pets, and the latest Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out last year. So looking at this, I could see DreamWorks potentially doing some Nintendo adaptations, since Universal is working with Nintendo with Super Nintendo World, and they did the Super Mario Bros. Movie with Illumination. So I can for sure see DreamWorks working on some few Nintendo adaptations, unless they do other video games that they could adapt into a movie series. So, like I said, wasn't really one of the very few movies that I wasn't really planning on watching, along with Transformers 1 and Garfield. Yeah, a lot of movies I wasn't really planning on watching from 2024, except the very two movies that I was really excited for was Kung Fu Panda 4 and Inside Out 2. But I am looking forward for Moana 2. But other than that, here's my review on The Wild Robot along with Transformers 1. The double movie review idea actually came from the Nintendo Direct in August, with starting out with the Indie Showcase first off, and then the Partner Showcase on August 27th. And for the double Directs feature. So when I saw that, I said like, maybe I should try that for a movie review. And of course, it would be Transformers 1. Why? Because I started with the interest because of the cast and the nice animation, and The Wild Robot, which is also started to grow on me throughout the months. So other than that, thank you all so much for watching my double movie review feature, because it sure was a really fun experiment to do. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and give this video a big thumbs up. And because we are on a road to getting this channel to 1,000 subscribers, and if you do, that would make me very happy, and I would really appreciate it if you guys did. So with that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.